And now we come to the book of Leviticus. Leviticus is one of the strangest books of the Bible. What is it about? It's about holiness. And it's about, especially for us, it's a rather strange. It is about how God laid out the rules so that the Israelites could be holy and therefore they could worship and come into his presence.
The Old Testament isn't intended for anybody other than Israel. He fulfilled the Levitical law already. He is our sacrifice.
Much said about God's mercy, much said about his grace. There is a great emphasis on the fact that God forgives, that he empowers. Almost nothing is said about the law of God, about the judgment of God, about the heinousness of violating his law and the just consequences of such a violation. And so, in a sense, the gospel, which means the good news, is stripped of what is really good because people don't know what is really bad, which makes the good news such good news.
Welcome to Diggin Deeper, a simple Bible study where we dig deeper into the Word of God. Thank you for joining me. I am your host, Billy Ray Parrish. For today's study, we continue in the book of Leviticus, Leviticus Chapter 24, which means we are nearing the end of another book. This is the third book of the Torah and the Old Testament to provide instruction and laws to guide a sinful people. However, as we have witnessed through the first two books of the Bible, God redeemed humanity time and time again. And the same is still true today, but it requires a relationship with a holy God. As you have already learned, Leviticus is filled with many laws that may not seem normal based on today's standards, and while most of these acts are condemned today, not all are, unfortunately. They were not during this period of history. God gives these laws to Israel during this period of history for a reason. Leviticus chapter 24 is made up of 23 beginning with verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Command the children of Israel, that they bring unto thee pure oil olive beaten for the light, to cause the lamps to burn continually, without the veil of the testimony, in the tabernacle of the congregation. Shall Aaron order it from the evening unto the morning before the Lord continually. It shall be a statute forever in your generations. He shall order the lamps upon the pure candlestick before the Lord continually. And thou shalt take fine flour, and bake 12 cakes thereof. 2 tenth deals shall be in 1 cake. And thou shalt set them in 2 rows, 6 on a row, upon the pure table before the Lord. And thou shalt put pure frankincense upon each row, that it may be on the bread for a memorial, even an offering made by fire unto the Lord. Every Sabbath he shall set it in order before the Lord continually, being taken from the children of Israel by an everlasting covenant. And it shall be Aaron's and his sons. And they shall eat it in the holy place, for it is most holy unto him of the offerings of the Lord, made by fire by a perpetual statute. And the son of an Israelitish woman, whose father was an Egyptian, went out among the children of Israel, and this son of the Israelitish woman. And a man of Israel strove together in the camp, and the Israelitish woman's son blasphemed the name of the Lord, and cursed. And they brought him unto Moses. And his mother's name was Shelemith, the daughter of Dibri, of the tribe of Dan. And they put him in ward, that the mind of the Lord might be shewed them. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Bring forth him that hath cursed without the camp, and let all that heard him lay their hands upon his head, and let all the congregation stone him. And thou shalt speak unto the children of Israel, saying, Whosoever curseth his God shall bear his sin. And he that blasphemeth the name of the Lord, he shall surely be put to death. And all the congregation shall certainly stone him, as well the stranger, as he that is born in the land, when he blasphemeth the name of the Lord, shall be put to death. And he that killeth any man shall surely be put to death. And he that killeth a beast shall make a good beast for beast. And if a man cause a blemish in his neighbor as he hath done, so shall it be done to him breach for breach, eye for eye, tooth for tooth, as he hath caused a blemish in a man, so shall it be done to him again. And he that killeth a beast, he shall restore it. And he that killeth a man, he shall be put to death. Ye shall have one manner of law, as well for the stranger, as for one of your own country, for I am the Lord your God. And Moses spake to the children of Israel, that they should bring forth him that had cursed out of the camp, and stone him with stones. And the children of Israel did as the Lord commanded Moses. Leviticus chapter 24 opens with instructions from God to the Israelites to provide pure olive oil, to keep the lamps in the tabernacle burning, symbolizing God's presence and light. The Israelites were commanded to bring pure oil of pressed olives, ensuring the lamps on the menorah, the lampstand, and the tabernacle burned continuously. The people were responsible for providing the oil, demonstrating their commitment to God's service and the maintenance of the sanctuary. Aaron and the priests were entrusted with tending to the lamps, ensuring they burned continuously from evening to morning. Verse 2 commands the Israelites to bring pure oil of pressed olives for the lamps in the tabernacle, ensuring they burn continually, symbolizing God's presence and guidance. Verse 3 instructs that Aaron, the high priest, is to tend the lamps in the tabernacle specifically, outside the veil of the testimony before the Lord, from evening to morning, continually, establishing it as a perpetual ordinance for future generations. Outside the veil of the testimony refers to the location within the tabernacle, where the Ark of the Covenant containing the 10 Commandments was kept, and the veil separated the holy place from the most holy place in the tent of meeting refers to the tabernacle, the central place of worship and sacrifice for the Israelites during their wilderness journey. Emphasizing God's desire to dwell among his people, Aaron shall keep it in order from evening to morning before the Lord continually specifies that Aaron, the high priest, and later his successors, are responsible for maintaining the lamps on the golden lampstand, burning continuously, from dusk to dawn. It shall be a perpetual statute throughout your generations. Emphasizes that this practice is not a temporary measure, but a permanent and binding law for all generations of Israelites. Verse 4 commands that the lamps on the pure gold lampstand, also known as the menorah in the tabernacle, be kept burning and maintained continually before the Lord. The lamp served as a source of light within the tabernacle, allowing the priests to carry out their duties and sacrifices, even in the darkness. The burning lamps represent the ongoing presence and light of God, and the priest's duty to maintain them highlights their role in upholding God's holiness and presence in the tabernacle. The next few verses explain the showbread by providing instructions that priests are to take fine flour and bake 12 loaves of bread, using 2/10 of an ephah for each loaf, and arrange them in 2 stacks on the golden table before the Lord, with incense as a memorial portion. It is specified that 12 loaves are to be made, representing the 12 tribes of Israel. The bread is made from fine flour, signifying the best and most refined aspects of the Israelites' offerings to God. The loaves are arranged in 2 stacks, 6 in each stack, on the golden table. Pure incense is placed with the bread as a memorial portion, representing the bread, and serving as a food offering to the Lord. The bread was replaced every Sabbath, and the priests would eat the old bread. The 12 loaves of bread, made from the finest flour, are to be arranged in 2 stacks, with 6 loaves in each stack, on the pure gold table before the Lord. Verse 7 instructs that pure frankincense should be placed on each row of the 12 cakes of bread presented on the table before the Lord, serving as a memorial offering, a reminder of the bread, and an offering made by fire to the Lord. The frankincense serves as a memorial to the bread, meaning it represents and is associated with the bread, but is also an offering made by fire to the Lord. Verse 8 states, "Every Sabbath day Aaron shall arrange it before the Lord regularly. It is from the people of Israel, as a covenant forever, which signifies the bread of the presence being placed before the Lord each Sabbath as a gift from the Israelites, symbolizing a perpetual covenant." Verse 9 states that the bread, a sacred offering, belongs to Aaron and his sons, who are to eat it in the holy place, as it is a most holy portion from the Lord's food offerings. The bread was considered a most holy offering, meaning it was set aside for the priest's exclusive consumption within the sacred area of the tabernacle. Verse 10 describes a man, the son of an Israelite woman, and an Egyptian father, who blasphemed the name of the Lord and cursed, leading to his punishment by stoning. The act of blasphemy is defined as verbally attacking or disrespecting God. The next few verses explain the man's mother's name was Shelemith, the daughter of Dibri, of the tribe of Dan. The person was brought to Moses, and the text indicates they were put in custody until the will of the Lord was made clear. Bible Gateway further states that anyone who curses God or blasphemes the name of the Lord will be put to death, and the entire congregation must stone them, which highlights the importance of revering God's name and the severe consequences of blasphemy within the community of Israel. Ellicott's commentary for English readers break down verse 12 like this, "And they put him in ward, that is, to keep him in safe custody till he had been tried. In the Mosaic legislation, confinement in a prison for a certain period as a punishment for an offense is nowhere enacted, that the mind of the Lord might be shewed them better, that he might direct them according to the command of the Lord." As the Authorized Version renders this phrase in Exodus chapter 17 verse 1. Numbers chapter 4 verse 37, Numbers chapter 4 verse 41, Numbers chapter 4 verse 49, etc. Though this was a transgression of the 3rd commandment, and though it was ordained that he who cursed his earthly parent should be put to death, see Leviticus chapter 20 verses 9. Yet no law existed as to the exact punishment which was to be inflicted upon him who cursed his Heavenly Father, see Exodus chapter 22 verse 28, nor was it known whether such an offender should be left to God himself to execute the sentence. For this reason the criminal was detained till Moses had appealed to the Lord for instruction, in order that he might direct the people accordingly. Similar instances of Moses appealing direct to the Lord for guidance in matters of law and judgment we have in Numbers chapter 15 verse 34, Numbers chapter 28 verses 1 through 5. Verses 13 and 14 explain God speaking to Moses, instructing that anyone who blasphemes the name of the Lord shall be put to death, with the entire congregation stoning the blasphemer after those who heard the curse lay their hands on his head, signifying the community's collective condemnation of the sin. Before the stoning, all who heard the curse are commanded to lay their hands on the blasphemer's head. This act is believed to signify the transmission of guilt and responsibility for the sin back to the blasphemer, rather than the people who heard the curse. Matthew Henry's commentary on Leviticus 24 says that this law is not to be dispensed with, emphasizing the need to take such words seriously. Verse 15 provides a direct command from God to the Israelites regarding the seriousness of blasphemy. The verse clearly states that anyone who curses God will be held accountable for their actions. This is not a light or casual matter. It is a sin that directly challenges God's holiness and authority. Verse 16 condemns blasphemy, which in this context means speaking disrespectfully or irreverently about God's name, titles, or attributes. The law applies equally to both native-born Israelites and foreigners, underscoring the importance of upholding God's name within the community. This particular law served as a deterrent to prevent the community from falling into idolatry or disrespecting God, reflecting the holiness code in Leviticus, which emphasizes purity and reverence. Verse 17 emphasizes the seriousness of murder and the value of human life, reflecting the principle of lex talionis, or the law of retribution. We witness lex talionis in Exodus chapter 21, and the same principles apply here. Verse 18 emphasized the seriousness of murder and the value of human life, reflecting the principle of lex talionis, law of retribution. Verse 18 means the person who kills another's animal must compensate the owner with a similar animal, reflecting the value of life. The phrase life for life emphasizes that the compensation should be equivalent to the loss incurred. In this case, the person who killed the animal must provide a similar animal to the owner. Here, it's important to note that this doesn't necessarily mean the person who killed the animal would be put to death, as would be the case for murder. Verse 19 states that if someone injures their neighbor, they should be injured in the same way. Note, there are interpretations of this principle as a limitation on the punishment rather than a command to inflict the same harm, emphasizing that it's meant to prevent excessive or arbitrary punishments. Verse 20, part of the eye for an eye law, dictates that if someone inflicts an injury on another, they should suffer the same injury in return, emphasizing proportional punishment and the value of human life. Eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth establishes a principle of retributive justice, meaning that the punishment should match the crime. The law aims to ensure that punishments are commensurate with the harm caused, preventing excessive or disproportionate retribution, which underscores the importance of justice and the value of human life, as the punishment for causing harm should be the same as the harm inflicted. While this principle is part of a larger legal framework in the Old Testament, it has become the legal framework for many countries, including the United States. While the eye for an eye principle applies to legal matters, Jesus, in the New Testament, emphasizes forgiveness and turning the other cheek in personal relationships, not judicial policy. Verse 21 emphasizes the difference in punishment for harming an animal versus taking a human life, highlighting the sanctity of human life. In other words, if someone kills an animal, they are required to make restitution for the loss, likely in the form of compensation or payment. However, if someone takes a human life, the penalty is death, reflecting the severity of taking a life made in the image of God, which underscores the importance and sanctity of human life, as it is seen as far more valuable than the life of an animal. Verse 22 emphasizes the same legal standards and punishments apply to everyone, regardless of their origin, reflecting God's universal justice. The phrase, "because I am the Lord your God," highlights God's authority and his expectation that his laws be upheld consistently and fairly. This principle underscores the importance of justice and fairness in the legal system, ensuring that everyone is treated the same way under the law. Ellicott's commentary for English readers describes verse 23. And Moses spake to the children of Israel, having recited the laws which were promulgated in consequence of the appeal made to God. Moses now calls upon the people to execute the sentence which the Lord pronounced against the blasphemer. Jamieson Fawcett Brown Bible Commentary further adds the children of Israel did as the Lord's commanded. The chapter closes with the execution of Shelomitha's son, chapter 4 verse 14. And stoning having afterwards become the established punishment in all cases of blasphemy. It illustrates the fate of Stephen, who suffered under a false imputation of that crime. From Acts chapter 7 verses 58 and 59. We have reached the end of our Bible study today for Leviticus chapter 24. I am excited to be in a new book of the Bible. And we have nearly finished another book of the Bible. I am thankful for each of you for continuing to tune into the program with me. We are beginning to put together an impressive list of programs. The first 2 books of the Bible have been really fun to learn. And really deep, but there is so much more to come. There is no telling what the next studies will reveal, so join us next time for our Bible study. Here on Diggin Deeper, as we simply dig deeper into the Word of God. Before we go, if you liked what you just watched, like and share our content. It really helps us grow. And think about subscribing to our channel, which will help you keep up to date with all of our content. Once again, I am your host Billy Ray Parrish, and until next time, thank you for joining us. Stay safe and God bless.